And welcome to G220 Radio. My name is Mike, and I'm sorry I'm getting on a little late for the live recording. Obviously, if you listen to this on the podcast, it'll probably be late for other reasons, not necessarily because I was having technical difficulties, but I was for some reason. My XLR cable right here in the back of my mic decided to not work properly. Probably a break in the line, but that's neither here nor there because I am live. We got some sound going through. My meters look good. And so we're going to have a fun show. Ricky woke up with a sore throat this morning, so he is not joining us today, which is unfortunate. So the show may be a bit shorter than normal. This is kind of a fun show. We kind of have two shows about Calvinism and bringing on people who are against Calvinism. We had one show 558 last week with Andrew, and we'll have another one next week. So tune in next Tuesday for that. But this one is Reformed Gifts, Christmas Gifts, episode 559. And I'm just gonna go through and talk about places you can get Reformed gifts. So kind of my methodology in this is not just going to be like stuff that I want, though there may be things I want. My wife's already done with all my Christmas shopping, so that's not as big of a deal. But also things that Reformed women would enjoy, places to go for husbands to buy your wives gifts. And then also kind of finish out things for kids. What are some good Christmas gifts for kids? And so we'll kind of go through all of them. Sorry, I just remembered one I want to talk about. I'm trying to pull it up here on my little screen so I remember. And so kind of just in no particular order, we're just going to go places that if I'm going to look for a Reform gift, this is where I'm going to go to. And this first one is actually where I got this. This is my John Calvin. I'm wearing a black sweatshirt that says "You are all on the naughty list" with John Calvin's face on it. Obviously, there's total depravity. Everyone's on the naughty list. And I got this last year from Missional Wear. Missional Wear has been around for a while. I first met them, saw them, heard about them at the Ligonier Conference in 2012. They were a smaller outfit then. Their shirts were very basic, but very Reformed, a lot of Greek. I had a shirt that says Jesus is my Pascal, which is like the sacrificed lamb. And they have grown a lot. And you can find t-shirts, sweatshirts from there. And it's just a really good place to go. They have pint glasses. I got my Calvin pint glass. I have Luther and Spurgeon and Edwards. And they're always they bring out when we host a family, fun talk tos. They have drinkwares, you know. They have decor. You can buy like a granite slate cutting board that's been etched in the middle with scripture or a theologian quote. So you get kind of like your scripture and your theologians. And Missional is they're a great company. I've enjoyed them. I've bought a lot from them. Like I mentioned, I remember they only did t-shirts, but just looking on their sites, they have journals, coffee cups, bookmarks. I think I might even have like a set of bookmarks my wife has picked up for me. just very good quality stuff. They have good customer service. We broke one of their lids. They replaced it with us. I mean, they just who where else are you gonna get a shirt that talks about how manly beards are? Like you're not gonna get it. Not a Spurgeon quote. So you have to go to missional wear if you're looking. And men, they got apparel for women. They got decors, tea towels. They have a new ugly sweater that says Cage Free Calvinist. It has a picture of Nicolas Cage on it. I mean, look, it's a good site. And so that would be my first kind of recommendation. Go to Missionware, some more support them. They're not sponsoring. None of these people are sponsoring um this show, but I really enjoy missional wear. Another one that I've thought about buying from and really haven't, though they have some good stuff, is Reformed Sage. And they have bookmarks. They have also tumblers. They have I think they have What's Wrong with You cups, if I remember right. So the RC Sproul quote when someone was talking about justification and he goes, "What's wrong with you people?" And he's very passionate and serious. He was serious when he said that. Um Things. They have something what they call free will gift cards. Probably you can buy whatever you want on there. Um on their site, you have the free will to buy stuff on their site. They also have reform roasters. So if you want to get coffee for someone with like a twist, I know they have like I think John Owen. There's a John Owen blend that might be um, Reformation Heritage Books. Also have one I think. They have the Tulip series. Total Depravity is like the really roast. Um, they have the cup. They have a coffee cup that says "I can do all things" through a verse taken out of context. Probably know how that is. Again, similar with missional wear, shirts, drinks. They don't necessarily have all the um, some of the tea towels and some of that, but they have flags. Again, just a good place to go support them, um, and to get some good merch or threads, as the youngins probably don't say anymore. Kind of, I'm going to include this. Not that women don't like books, and maybe as a transition, like if you're looking for books, Reformation heritage books. Yes, they're Presbyterians. Yes, I know we're Baptist, but they have really good books, and so you should go visit them and check out their books. They have kids books. One for kids books, they have probably some of the best series. Samantha Carr has written 14 or 15 biographies. She has it's an entire series. It's called Christian Biographies for Young Readers. We have John Knox. They have here on the site, they have Jane Grey, John Calvin, Charles Spurgeon, and others. They're really good just introducing your kids to important Christian figures. I think she's just released a new book on church history. So if you want to get on that for like your kids and start getting your kids into church history, Reformation Heritage Books, Samantha Carr. I've only heard we have some of the books. They're really good. I've only heard good things. Obviously, Reformation Heritage is going to very much can go through. They have a correlated catalog, so I would not expect any bad books outside of when they try to promote infant baptism, but we can give them a pass. They're still Christians, even though they're Dutch Reformed / Presbyterian. And so this Joel Beakey, it's his kind of website to sell books. He's the one kind of oversees a lot of it. So if you know Joel Beakey, he's written a lot of good books for it. So yeah, just Reformation Heritage. That's where you're gonna go for your books. Get your good books. I'm trying to think if I have any books close to me that would be on there. I don't think so. Maybe Banner of Truth. Try to see. But yeah, they have good books. And that's always try. Yeah, they have the Geneva series of commentaries. I have that. Here's one. This is what I've been using in our Proverbs series. This is by Charles Bridges. You only have one left right now, so you better get it if you want to follow us. I've really enjoyed about this with Charles Bridges, Puritan, published by Banner of Truth, is his gospel applications. It's not just, it's expository. He explains the text, but he's very good at bringing to light the applications from it. And so I've really enjoyed Charles Bridges. I mean, this is what the Puritans are. The Puritans we're gonna go. We're just gonna take it. We're gonna go down the rabbit trail. Stream of conscience podcast episode. The Puritans are the experiential reformers. So Luther is fighting on important main topics. It's Melanchthon, who comes after him, and John Calvin, who really are kind of in the second wave, relatively peace, but they're able to systematize, to rethink about these things, to think over these things, and to kind of develop the theology. I mean, the Institutes, probably the more well-known coming out of there, but there's other systematics coming out. Like I said, Melanchthon writes his own. In fact, most systematic theologies follow what Melanchthon did in organizing his systematic. Then the Puritans come after, kind of the third generation Reformation, and they really apply the theology to the hearts. And in one sense, I think this is a parable in which how everyone lives. That is, we come to know Christ and major things are changed in our minds. And then as we continue to grow in our theology, our practice, our life grows with it. And there's this kind of this movement from big things to systematizing to how this is played out. Obviously, how these things are played out are important. Even in Calvin's time, they're dealing with that. But in terms of writing and what we have, we see this development from big things to systematizing to orthopraxy or right living. And this series, the Geneva series of commentaries by Banner Truth, there's, at least with Charles Bridges, most of them are kind of in the Puritan or Puritan tradition. Always a good pickup for study, both men and women. So that's a Reformation Heritage book. I enjoy them. I enjoy those books. Now, for husbands, listen up. Here it is. The Daily Grace Co. This has been a site that we haven't really bought from, but have been on our minds and to think about They are definitely kind of more, they're for your wives and to help to just to make things pretty. That's what it's for. And they have different studies. They have study tools, handbooks, pens. They have accessories, tote bags, stuff like that, stuff for your families, and just kind of really good and pretty beautiful stuff for your wife. My wife has bought stuff from Daily Grace Co. So your wife should too, or you should buy for your wife. Again, just a smaller company, but doing really good work, providing some really good theologically rich material for women, which unfortunately hasn't always been the case, especially within more popular vein. Though I think the Gospel Coalition women have kind of helped bring about this renewal study and good biblical resources for women. And we're starting to see this kind of work out in stuff like what Daily Grace is doing. And another site that my wife has ordered, and you don't necessarily need to have a belief in head coverings, but Garlands of Grace. They make head coverings and scarves, and they're just, again, they're pretty, they're nice. My wife has bought some stuff from them. And not that you need to be of that persuasion to wear one if you think women should be wearing hair coverings in church or not, but sometimes it's just nice. My wife just sometimes wants to wear one, wears one church, wear one's working around the house, get the hair out of the way. So, men, if this is something you think your wives would like, you should go support Garlands of Grace. And even this is what they say: Garlands of Grace offers a variety of versatile head coverings, head wraps, headbands for sales for women and girls. Whether you're shopping our sites for fashion, modern 1 Corinthians 11, 13 Christian head coverings, hair loss, chemo scarves, we strive to provide quality, timeless pieces that you'll enjoy for many years to come. Each head covering and hair accessory is made in the USA, in case you wanted to know that. So, men, take notes. Garlands of Grace. And I'll try to remember once I get off of the air to put these into the show notes. I was going to try to do it before, but it just didn't happen. Another kind of similar line of of missional wear and reform sage is SDG clothing, or Soli de Gloria clothing. Again, your t-shirts, your drinkware. They got home decor. You can get flags. They have Christian ornaments. The theologically sound gifts. They have jewelry and journals and stickers. Or what else could you ask for? For giving out gifts. Hopefully you have like bookmarks. It's always important. They have jewelry. So maybe you can pick up, let's see here, jewelry for your wife. Oh yeah, your irresistible anchor necklace right there. John Calvin on that one. There's a knot necklace with the same thing. So yeah, you can get some jewelry for your wife or your children, if that's what they want. And so yeah, go visit Soli de Gloria Clothing. It's sdgclothing.com. Obviously, you can search for all of these online. And I'll try to remember to put them in the show notes. Another site for kids and just family stuff is Tiny Theologians. Now, we have bought a lot from Tiny Theologians. We are currently going through in our family devotions the ABCs of Christmas, kind of each letter. So 26 cards, one for each letter, on just different aspects of the Christmas story. And my wife commented, we'll just show it on the screen, a lot. We have bought a lot from Tiny Theologians. I might need to send them an email, see if they can be a sponsor of the show, um, and try to help them out. But we have really enjoyed just all of their stuff that we have bought. And they, yeah, they're really good. They're high quality cards. They have them on like the attributes of God, the family tree of Christ, which we haven't even um, we haven't used this year. We used it last year, where each day introduced a different character in the family tree of Jesus. So you have like Adam and Eve and Sarah and Abraham and Isaac and David, and I don't remember all else. Like it's just a lot. Again, just really good resources. Um, they have a book called Tiny Systematics. My wife has used that to teach kids Sunday school. And yeah, they have. Oh, here's one we've talked about. It's My Big Bible Timeline, Old Testament. It's a puzzle, a big floor puzzle. Again, Tiny Theologians has been a blessing in our family, and just what they offer. The source, all of the resources we've bought there have been just very good, very theologically sound, and just it's it's worth it. Even got T-shirts that say Tiny Theologian. You can put them on your kid. So um that is just a good resource. Another resource again for books, we use this a lot for kids book. They've produced really good kids books. Is the Good Book Company. The Good Book Company. I think they've recently published a book by my pastor. They've published other resources, but they have some really good books on just for kids, just kids books on different topics, kids that are kind of digestible for kids. Sorry, I get a drink. And Ligonier is always a good place if you're looking for books. Um, my wife was joking. I'm gonna do if you need coffee stuff, primacoffee.com. Help support my family. Um, yeah, my wife commented the Christian Women Dick. We did have to edit on Tiny Theologians. There was some questionable people in there. That's probably one of our only concerns. But Jesus and the Lion's Dens is one of our kids' favorite book from the Good Book Company, and it teaches about typology. So what it does is there's little lion figures on each page or on pages that have Christ connections. And in the end, it goes through on how Daniel shows evidences of Christ. And so you kind of get this idea of typology. They have one on Acts 16 when with Paul and Silas and the Philippian jailer. And I think they have a couple others too that are just for kids. They're picture books, but they are um I find and their kids picture books have been some of the best that we've had. The garden, the curtain, and the cross. And what's nice about these is you can buy the book, and they also have a coloring book, so your kids can come in and then color them also. Trying to think. They have a book, His Grace is Enough, of which we have the God contest with Elijah and the prophets of Baal, the prisoners, the earthquake, and the midnight song. Again, that's the one on Act 16. Again, all of these have been just really good books for kids. They're sound, and they all have coloring books that go with them. Goodbye to Goodbyes is about the resurrection, and The Christmas Promise is another one. Again, it's just they're all just really good and helping to teach kids. And I think what we've tried to do in this Christmas season, what kind of why we're thinking about this is just to help remind our kids that yes, we're buying presents, and yes, Christmas is an excellent time and we get gifts, but the season's all about Jesus. And so some of those books with like Tiny Theologians and the Good Book Company allow us to try to teach our kids and build the excitement of Christmas when the incarnate Son becomes flesh, lying in the manger. And then that is important because that looks forward to him walking in perfect obedience and sacrificing himself for our sins. The kind of the beginning of the gospel message is the beginning of Christmas when God condescends to mankind. My wife is commented again. If you have other books recommendations, other gifts that you're like, oh yeah, you should mention this, go ahead and comment even after the show. Go, I've really enjoyed this place to buy good, solid Christian material. Not necessarily books, but just home things. If you put Christian books, I may question your salvation a little bit. Just a little though. But for older kids, Andrew Peterson's Wingfeather Saga is a great book, chapter book. It has some very good themes. Andrew Peterson has written songs. He's a Christian artist. He's written this entire 4-book series called the Wingfeather Saga. They're on Angel Studios, is now producing a TV series. They've just released the first episode. Again, another book, Christian fiction, similar to, I mean, it's an allegory like the Narnia series. And so again, just kind of having that in your mind for kids, like you want to give your kids a good fiction book. Maybe they're not quite ready to tackle all of the Chronicles of Narnia. The Wingfeather Saga is it's just been a really good book. We've been reading it in the car, and I think we're in the 4th book and probably about between a fourth and half done with it. So we're eagerly awaiting the end of that. So, and if your kids like it, Rabbit Room sells merchandise. You can buy shirts, coloring. We got a toothy cow, bell ornament, and some other things like that. So it's a good place if you are into the Wing Feather or you want to learn more about the Wing Feather series. The Rabbit Room is where you want to go with that. And I think with that, here coming in just around 30 minutes, which is probably a good time, is how we're gonna wrap it up. I mean, there's places that you can go and find things. There are other good Christian book companies that you can buy some of these things. Like, I think of Founders as I look here. As they release, this is the Baptist Symbolics Volume 1 on the First London Confession of Faith. You can pre-order the second Volume 2, which is on the Second London. There's a third volume, which will be on the Baptist Catechism. That's at Founders. You can get the Baptist Catechism set to music on Founders. So again, another place we use Grace and Truth from the Founders for our family devotions and our kids' scripture memorization. So, but those are maybe not necessarily all Christmas gifts. I mean, I know some people who may want the Vindication of Truth as a book, but there's others. So if you're looking here, I mean, you got like a week and a half now before you need to get all your orders in and to ensure that they will be there in time. And that's not even possible. So I work on an e-commerce company, and last time I checked, UPS still doesn't guarantee any of their times on ground and 3-day shipping. So might as well do it early, or you might get lost in the shuffle. I think I just saw the UPS days, which are like, I think the 17th. So, maybe we're getting this a little bit late, but it's still got time, but you don't got a lot of time here on December 6th. And, if you find this some other time, there might be some good books, some good things to think about in these places here. Obviously, they're open all year round for your gift giving needs. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us. Next week, we will have another discussion on Calvinism. And I see if I can get who we'll have on. But yeah, we'll have another discussion on kind of someone against Calvinism, just to be able to walk through these things and talk about them and be able to discuss these things as Christians. So join us next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. We are on YouTube and Facebook every Tuesday night, almost every Tuesday night. And for Ricky, I have been Mike, and this may have been one of the shortest podcasts we've ever done. Thank you and good night.